So let's just settle into, and again, we're running late, into a nice, comfortable seated posture, except for Judith, who's on her back here. um, and feet about hips width apart, and just align your body, lengthen your spine, and then just imagine releasing any tension from the crown of the head all the way down to your feet. And notice the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. And be aware of any sounds in your environment. And just notice what's happening in your mind. Put some space in between the thoughts, just allowing them to arise, to abide, and then just to disappear. And just observe your mind with curiosity. And objectivity. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, the strangers, and the ones you don't particularly like. Remembering these relationships can be interchangeable and they're all equal. Just like you and me, they don't want to suffer, they want to be happy, and they have this extraordinary capacity, this beautiful potential for Buddhahood. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, for all those people I mentioned. I forgot to mention the families in that plane crash, and then all the staff. And just, there's a lot of people affected, a lot of people suffering right now. And think, there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having, harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we can't bear the thought of the future suffering that we will experience. We know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think, I regret from the depths of my heart, having broken my vows, harmed others with my body and my speech, because I don't want any future suffering. And just also regret our delusions, anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and then think again, I'm sick of this suffering, and then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us. We purify ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you can also think of this as rather than a purification practice, a healing practice. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher, if you have one, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently, and then in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. And it's never going to be clear when that might arise, when those karmic seeds might ripen. So you make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification, of healing, for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. We start with the body, and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Jido Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dinapatita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Duda Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is this purification of our speech. And imagine that Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sikokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me, Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me, Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech, including yourself. And next is this purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So imagine you've walked into a room, it's pitch black, and you flick on the switch, and the light instantly dispels the darkness, doesn't it? So it's the same here. Think of the light that comes from Vajrasattva's heart, hits your heart chakra, and then all of a sudden, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachments, neediness, anxiety, anger, depression, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Trida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Trida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar this time together, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from our consciousness as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Trida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Trida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Trida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Judo Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Judo Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Judo Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe. So now feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth step in the purification process. It's really crucial because we have to decide that we want to refrain from harming. So this is the step that we do it. This is where we do it. So without making some kind of decision that we don't want to harm, we're just going to keep doing the same old stuff over and over again. And it could be just very simple, like something with our speech. Or maybe we accidentally pick up pens wherever we go. It's kind of stealing, but it's sort of unconscious. So maybe just first of all, rejoice in your efforts for coming along tonight. So I know many of you, we're all at different time zones. So some are very early, some are very late. And then think of something you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow. And don't make it like a New Year's resolution that I'm never going to do this again, or I'm not going to do this for a whole year or even a week. Think about a timeline as small as 5 minutes. Make it doable. So think Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. And in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So now what we do for my new people is we recite 3 verses of chanting the names of Manjushri for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So this verse 113. Perfecting all perfections perfectly, adorned by all the grounds of bodhisattvas, the selflessness of pure phenomena, with the luster that is moonlight unto knowledge, with great endeavors as illusory nets, the foremost master ruling every tantra, endowed in full with every vajra posture, completely furnished with all wisdom bodies, completely good with intellect supreme, the embryo of earth sustaining beings, great embryo from which all Buddhas form, with emanation circles most diverse. So let's just have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of your own individual teachers to live long, happy, healthy lives.